When you turn on the news and you see them obsessing over crypto volatility or the latest meme coin pump, it feels like a distraction, and that's because it is. While the media has you focused on the daily price swings, a much deeper, darker game is being played behind the curtain. I call it the silent takeover. The reality of late 2025 is that Bitcoin is being quietly nationalized and institutionalized. The insiders, I'm talking the sovereign wealth funds, central banks, and mega managers like BlackRock, are currently in a race to corner the supply. They are doing this while the public is distracted, scared, or sold out. So today, I want to break down exactly how they are doing it, why this is the most critical time to be paying attention, and the one specific risk you face that nobody is talking about. First, we have to look at the mechanism. How do they buy billions without sending the price to the moon immediately? Everyone cheered when the ETFs launched. We thought, great, democratized access. But you need to look at an ETF differently. Think of an ETF as a giant vacuum cleaner. It allows institutions to suck up the liquid supply of Bitcoin without spiking the price on your screen. How? Because they don't buy on Coinbase like you do. They use OTC desks, over the counter. They call up a miner or a whale and buy 10,000 coins in a private deal. That trade never hits the public order book. So you're looking at your phone thinking the price is boring, nobody is buying. Meanwhile, exchange reserves are hitting multi-year lows. The warehouse is being emptied out the back while we are distracted in the front. And when the warehouse is finally empty, that is when the price shock happens. But by then, the coins are already in their cold storage and they are never coming back out. But it's not just BlackRock, it's nations. Did you catch the news about Bhutan? While the US was debating regulations and fighting crypto in court, this tiny kingdom in the Himalayas was quietly mining Bitcoin. They used their renewable hydro power, basically waterfalls, to mine. They didn't announce it. They didn't hold a press conference. They just did it. And now they hold Bitcoin equivalent to 30% of their entire GDP. That is the signal. Do you really think they are the only ones? Rumors are everywhere that sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East, the UAE, they're all doing the exact same thing. They know the math. They know the US dollar is mathematically guaranteed to lose value. They are hoarding Bitcoin to ensure they have a seat at the table of the new financial system. It is a global arms race, and most people don't even know the gun has gone off. So if this is so valuable, why does the media tell you it's dangerous? Why do they scream about volatility and energy usage? Because it's a narrative war. When they tell you Bitcoin is too volatile, they're trying to scare you out of the asset. The insiders view volatility differently. They view a 20% crash as a shakeout. They want the price to drop. They want you to panic sell. Because when you sell your Bitcoin cheap, BlackRock is the one buying it. And the environmental stuff, that boiling the oceans narrative, that was just a delay tactic. It kept retail investors away just long enough for the institutions to build their own massive mining infrastructure. And now that they own the mines, suddenly you don't hear about the environmental stuff as much. Funny how that works. Now let's look forward to 2026. What is the end game? There's a theory gaining traction called the Bitcoin Fort Knox scenario. You're starting to see bills purposed like the Bitcoin Act of 2025, suggesting the US Treasury should buy 1 million Bitcoin. Now, think about the mechanics of that. The US government prints dollars, which cost nothing to make, to buy Bitcoin, which is strictly scarce. It's the ultimate trade. If they do this, the Bitcoin held by the US government becomes so valuable that it essentially backs the dollar. It repegs the system to a hard asset without having to go back to gold bars. In that world, Bitcoin isn't trading at $100,000. It's now the base layer of global money. But here's the part that worries me, and this is the part you need to listen to carefully. If Bitcoin becomes a matter of national security, do you think they're going to let you hold it easily? This brings us to financial repression. There's a very real risk of a soft ban on self-custody. The government might say, sure, you can own Bitcoin, but it has to be in a regulated bank like JP Morgan or Coinbase. Why? Because if you hold your own keys, they can't tax it, seize it, or freeze it. If they force you into a bank, they have total control. So what do? Well, you have to survive the transition. First, get off the exchanges. If the government decides to do an executive order 6102, like when they seized the gold in the 30s, they will go to the exchanges first. So get a hardware wallet, move your coins. Possession is 100% of the law. And second, stop looking at the price in dollars. The wealthy don't measure their net worth in paper money that is being printed to infinity. They measure it in scarce assets, acres of land, ounces of gold, number of Bitcoin. Your goal should be to accumulate 0.1 to 1 whole Bitcoin, because in a world with 8 billion people and only 21 million coins, owning just one puts you in the top 0.01% of the human population forever. The insiders are hoarding because they know the exits are closing. So make sure you get your seat on the lifeboat before they pull up the ladder.